This is Nightline.
Tonight, instant abs. Men going from dad bod to beach bod just in time for summer by taking a six-pack shortcut.
When pool season rolls around, you're just kind of ready to go, even though you're living life like a normal person.
Can you really say goodbye to sit-ups?
Why would you look basic when you can look amazing?
Can you tell who got shredded the old-fashioned way and who went under the knife? Plus, Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles.
I don't think you're ready for this. My body too bootylicious.
A fashionista behind the looks of Destiny's Child, known for hits like Bootylicious, pulling back the curtain on the tough decisions she made as a mom.
I always made my kids understand that money didn't grow on trees.
The momager and matriarch.
When do you remember seeing something special in Beyonce and Solange?
And remembering actor Michael Madsen, best known for memorable roles in Quentin Tarantino films like Reservoir Dogs.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, the idea that sounds too good to be true. Men saying they traded in their dad bods for a beach bod, taking a shortcut to get sculpted. Just because these transformations don't require working out doesn't mean they're easy or cheap. Here's Nightline's Ashin Singh with another look.
A six-pack for the summer, overnight abs, instant bulk, and a cut physique. Some men are trying to get shredded quick.
I don't think there should be any stigma to self-improvement.
I have high expectations for myself. Why would you look basic when you can look amazing?
In the past, abs like that might take cutting carbs out year-round and never leaving the gym. But these guys, and many others, are using plastic surgery as their secret weapon.
There's no idea that a woman needs to have something wrong with her in order to do it. Well, is there any reason that that should be different for men?
Some people call it just abdominal etching, some people call it abdominal sculpting, some people call it 3D liposuction. There are a lot of different names for it, but the most important thing is you need to go to a doctor that does a lot of this, a doctor that's a member of the Aesthetic Society.
Fat is removed from one part of the body to make the body appear more muscular, or it's placed in another position to make that area look more muscular.
At what point were you like, I want to talk about this?
If I have this conviction that, you know, there's this norm out there that is unfair, why not be true to myself and let others know how I feel? If it fits me in the shoulders, then it's not gonna fit me in the waist.
Zach Michelson is a busy father of two who works in tech. He also has a modeling hobby. You may have seen him on the cover of romance novels like Billion Dollar Vow and One Hot Cowboy Wedding, or in underwear ads. He said he's found a way to take his body to the next level with less of a demand on himself.
Normally you think, oh, well, you're gonna have to get down to 5 or 6 or 7% body fat to, to really have good abs.
Shredded.
Yeah, but that's not, a comfortable place to stay.
And it's hard to maintain.
And it's hard to maintain, and it requires, a particular lifestyle.
What did you want to change about yourself, if anything?
I kind of got sold on this idea that we probably naturally have about the right amount of body fat if you're staying in shape. It just isn't necessarily in the places that you want it to be.
So just before his 40th birthday, Zach took a leap of faith and made an appointment with Dr. Douglas Steinbreck, who removed fat from Zach's midsection and sculpted his upper body.
There's an old-fashioned liposuction when your Aunt Susie had a little bit of fat that was removed from her tummy, but I don't throw that fat away. I put it up into the shoulders, up in the chest, up into the traps, or maybe in the glutes to make a more athletic final result.
Dr. Steinbreck says there's an added benefit to this technique. Banking fat cells into desired places directs future fat stores to those areas.
The carbs and the calories now will go through your bloodstream and find new areas. So you can have that ice cream and your shoulders get wider, you get more sexy up in your chest, and your traps pop, and it's less likely to go into those undesired areas. And it really, really works.
Well, when pool season rolls around, you're just kind of ready to go, even though you're living life like a normal person.
It's been 5 years since Zach had his procedure. He's been candid with his social media followers about his plastic surgery.
So we can see the body bank or lipocell transfer can make those areas pop.
Did you receive any blowback?
I did not receive any criticism or trolling or any of that. I did get quite a number of people who were interested, who were considering self-improvement for themselves.
Self-improvement is normal. We all want to get better. I think it's important to, as a physician, say that it's okay to get things done that affirm how you feel.
Hello everyone, my name is Chi.
For 37-year-old Chi Tang, if he wants a nip and a tuck, nothing can get in the way. Not family and friends.
A lot of my family members were stopping me like, you don't need this, you don't need that, but you know, it's not about you, it's about me.
And not any stereotype that plastic surgery isn't for men.
Who introduced the idea of cosmetic surgery to you? As I remember growing up, the one thing I was always told, like, men don't get cosmetic surgery, and that's changed now, right?
Instagram, Facebook, you know, you see so many like beautiful people, so I'm like, wait, what can I do, you know? So I started out with my nose, and then I move on to my eyes, and then, I don't know, like every year, I continue to do a tiny bit,
Tang lives and works in New York City, where he says nothing feels like too much.
I used to see people got the abdominal edging. Used to be like them. I would never do that.
But Tang is a power lifter. He says he couldn't sculpt the perfect body in the gym, so plastic surgery felt right.
I work out 4 to 7 times a week. I try any diet from keto to now I'm full vegan. No matter how hard I try, how many crunches I do, my ab will never pop out. So I think before COVID, I saw like Instagram, and then I saw like the doctor in Houston. He specializes in abdominal edging. Well, I would say I get my look from the gym, the kitchen, and the doctor.
Tang, who owns his own salon, says he dropped over 14 grand a few years ago to have abdominal liposuction, 360 chest, bicep, tricep, and back lipo.
And what was the type of look you were hoping for?
I want a six pack, but I don't think I got a six pack. I just got a lot leaner. So overall, I'm still pretty happy with the decision that I went. But one thing, I wish I didn't let him lipo my chest. The minute I got out from the surgery, when I touched my chest, it's like, whoa.
It went down.
It went down, so now when I do bench press, I have to lift a lot more to create the same volume. So that's one thing I regret.
If your goal is perfection, that's not a realistic goal. And so you have to sit down and understand what can and can't be done and the possible risks that come with those procedures before you make your final decision.
Ab etching or ab sculpting is a minimally invasive procedure, but it's typically done under anesthesia. And with any medical procedure, there are risks.
The procedure itself can come with the risk of infection, and that can lead that person to needing additional procedures, which then, of course, come with more harm, which is why it's so important that when you're talking to a provider or a doctor about these procedures, you want to make sure that that doctor is a board-certified cosmetic surgeon before you begin that discussion.
Across the jawline.
Zach's experience with ab etching was so positive that he says he's now more open to other cosmetic enhancements. Today, he's getting filler with Dr. Steinbrecht.
And this is the real magic, where just a little bit in that outer brow.
Your message for the world, it feels like, not only is it okay for men to care about how they look, it's okay for them to do something about it.
And you don't need to be vain, right? You don't need to be obsessed with your looks. If I can make it better, then great. Society is changing.
Our thanks to Ashen. Up next, the one and only Tina Knowles, fashionista extraordinaire, how she says she fostered that same creativity in daughters Beyonce in Salon. Welcome back. Tina Knowles is known for her enormous creativity and her enormously talented daughters Beyonce and Salon, whose incredible careers she helped shape. Now the matriarch of the Knowles family is shedding light on public and personal struggles, even revealing a recent cancer diagnosis. Here's another look at ABC's Deborah Roberts' interview.
People know you as Tina, or Miss Tina, as we refer to it in the South, but your name is Celestine and Beyonce.
I still don't love the name.
Celestine?
Yeah, because the nuns call me Celestine. They used to say it as ugly as they could. And then having a last name, which I didn't like very much either, you know.
Beyonce.
You know, now I can appreciate that name, of course.
Beyonce, straight ahead!
And that name now beloved worldwide. Tina teaching the girls of Destiny's Child how to be a survivor.
'Cause my mama taught me better than that. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up.
And making her daughter proud in formation.
Mama Louisiana. You mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama.
Tina Knowles, the matriarch of one of the most influential families in American music history.
Cowboy Carter.
Her firstborn, the most decorated artist ever in the Grammys, with a record-breaking 35 wins.
I still am in shock, so thank you so much for this honor.
Solange, Tina's youngest, taking home a Grammy of her own for Cranes in the Sky.
But it's like cranes in the sky.
When people see you, they see you as this mom of superstar women. When do you remember seeing something special in Beyonce and Solange?
Very early. You know, I remember Beyonce harmonizing. One day we were in the car and she loved for me to sing. She's just so funny because she said, "Wow, I thought you could really sing till I got a little older and learned what it was." And I was like, "Oh, Lord." And Solange, since she was 3, was doing shows. You know, they would come to my salon and sell tickets to the clients, and the clients would be like, "We don't even want to watch them, and they charging us money."
Before motherhood, hairstyling was one of Tina's first loves.
These products are for everyone.
Now giving Nightline an exclusive look inside the Sacred Salon, a test lab for the award-winning hair care line she co-founded with Beyonce.
I had every color hair there was.
Her latest book, Matriarch, is a memoir, shedding new light on her public and personal struggles, even revealing her recent breast cancer diagnosis.
My doctor told me I had breast cancer. She said I was stage 1A, assuring me my prognosis was good.
After surgery and treatment, she says she's now cancer-free.
You begin your book growing up amid segregation in Galveston, Texas, and you say, "We shared what we had. We felt like we had it to give. My family was on pennies, but we were living like millionaires." And that was due to your mom.
Yes, because she made everything nice. You know, she just did so much to make us know that we were loved. She was pretty amazing.
You talk about your hometown of Galveston with such love, yet there was segregation. Tell me about growing up there, because there was the beauty, but there was also the pain.
It was the beauty and the pain because we lived like 6 blocks from the beach. So we would walk to the beach. We had 1.5 blocks of the beach.
For the blacks.
For the black people. And you could go down the seawall, but you couldn't go past that.
Give me a sense of how you processed that growing up, because on the one hand you had a tight-knit family and a loving experience, but yet you had the stark contrast of racism.
Well, the racism really got bad for me when I was 14. I remember my brothers going and they were shot with BB guns and called racist names or whatever, because they just wandered. They were kids and they just wandered further than they should have, riding their bikes. I mean, every time I talk about this, it's been so many years, it's just so painful because it was the scariest time.
And you talk about what that was like then, and you sort of look at where we are today, and there's still so much.
It's still the same thing. I mean, I still tell my grandson, just shut your mouth and get home, which is what my mother said to me all the time, because I had a mouth on me. And I tell him that all the time. I'm like, just be quiet, even if it's unfair, and make it home.
You were tough.
I was tough. I'm still tough.
At 21 years old, Tina headed to Houston, and soon after meeting Matthew Knowles. They married in 1980, and the 2 babies who followed now need no introduction.
Your daughters grew up with privilege that you didn't have. How did you keep them grounded in their roots as young black women?
They had a totally different life from me. I always made my kids understand that money didn't grow on trees.
Tina opening Headliners, a 12-chair hair salon in Houston. She and Beyonce sat down with my colleague Juju Chang in 2010.
I think I'm bad. Beyonce's my name.
Is it true that you first started singing in your mom's salon?
Yes, it's very true, unfortunately, for her clients.
If they wanted to come and hang out, then I always had like a kitchen area, and they sat in there did their homework. Destiny's Child performed. They signed their record deal in the salon.
A nod to Mama Tina's salon, celebrated in the group's first #1 hit, Bills, Bills, Bills. I first met them more than 20 years ago while on assignment for 2020.
You guys still get them? Jitters? Do you?
I get them. I'm nervous still, like, oh gosh, I'll make sure I get my steps right. I'll make sure I know all the hits.
Behind the group's success, Matthew with his business sense and Tina with her fashion.
Now, most mothers are trying to keep their daughters away from sexy clothes, but yet you're designing them for your daughter.
I think that they always look very classy and they always carry themselves as ladies, so I don't think that they're too sexy.
Destiny's Child went on to win multiple Grammys with 60 million records sold. But while the girls were soaring to the stratosphere, Tina and Matthew's marriage was losing oxygen.
You would sometimes say, I'm going to leave him. You actually did pick
I
up
would leave
and
him,
you
yeah.
left him. Where did you find the strength to deal with all of that?
I don't know. I just don't think I had time to even think about it. I had just had enough. People might not even believe that this really happened, but this is my life. I can verify it. That I left on a Friday to get an apartment. And so by the time he came back on Tuesday, I was in a house and went back to work that day. It's crazy.
Tina filed for divorce in 2009, reconsidered, and then filed again in 2011. The divorce finalized that year.
What did you gain from your mom that you pulled from, that you drew from during those times of difficulty?
Resilience. The resilience that I saw my daddy, a lot of times they got what they call pennies. It was $35 a week, and still found a way for us to go ride the ferry and pretend that it was our yacht and get us out of that mentality that we were less than. She taught me that, and I've taught it to my daughters. And I feel like if tomorrow stuff went left and they lost everything financially or whatever, if they had their family, they would be okay.
Her family now a long way from those humble roots.
What does being a matriarch mean to you?
I think being a matriarch means that you stay up at night when everybody is asleep. You make it work. Do I do a great job all the time? No, sometimes not, but I'm gonna put the effort into it to try to help them and be there for them until I take my last breath.
Amen to that. Our thanks to Deborah. Matriarch by Tina Knowles is available now wherever books are sold. When we return, remembering actor Michael Madsen, known for playing tough guys like Toothpick Vic in Reservoir Dogs.
If they hadn't have done what I told them not to do, they'd still be alive.
And finally tonight, actor Michael Madsen has died. He was a prolific actor known for playing tough guys in Quentin Tarantino's most popular movies like Reservoir Dogs.
If they hadn't have done what I told them not to do, they'd still be alive.
And Kill Bill.
That woman deserves her revenge.
Madsen appeared in more than 300 movies over his decades-long career and was also a published poet. In 2020, reflecting on his career.
I could have been nothing, but I got lucky. I got lucky as an actor.
Madsen's manager saying he died unexpectedly today. Michael Madsen was 67. And that's Nightline for this evening. You can catch our full episodes on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+. We'll see you right back here same time tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.